Have you ever caught yourself thinking, maybe it's just too late for me to change, or this is just how life goes now? If you have, you're definitely not alone. The truth is, after 60, it's easy to fall into patterns, some comforting and some quietly harmful, not because we're weak or pessimistic, but because life has shown us both joy and hardship, love and loss. Sometimes, without even realizing it, we start carrying around thoughts that no longer serve us, thoughts that drain our energy, cloud our joy, and slowly close the door on new beginnings. But here's the thing, every day we wake up is another chance to feel lighter, to feel better, to feel free. And much of that starts in the mind, not with a prescription or a new routine or the latest health gadget, but by gently letting go of toxic thoughts that weigh us down. Letting go doesn't mean pretending those thoughts never existed. It means recognizing when they've outstayed their welcome and releasing them with compassion. Today we're going to talk about 6 toxic thoughts that may be quietly holding you back after 60, and how letting them go can open the door to deeper peace, joy, and emotional freedom. Let's begin with one of the most common and the most damaging thoughts many people struggle with. I'm too old for that. That single sentence has stopped more dreams than failure ever could. Think about it. How many times have you wanted to try something new? A dance class, a book club, an online course, a little travel, a business idea, only to shut it down in your mind with that phrase. It sneaks in like a quiet thief, stealing opportunity before it even has a chance to knock. But here's the truth. You're not too old. You're wiser, more resilient, and more in touch with what truly matters. Age might change your energy or your pace, but it doesn't cancel your curiosity, your creativity, or your ability to feel alive. When we say, I'm too old for that, what we're really doing is shrinking our world. And at this stage of life, we deserve to expand it. The next time that thought appears, try replacing it with, I wonder what would happen if I gave this a try. You don't need to climb mountains or start a new career unless you want to. Sometimes the most meaningful growth comes from small yeses, a new recipe, a daily walk in a new neighborhood, talking to someone new at the park. It's never about how old you are, it's about how open you are. And now let's talk about another heavy thought. It's selfish to focus on myself. Many of us grew up believing that our worth was tied to how much we gave to others, our children, our spouse, our job, our community. And while giving is beautiful, it becomes a burden when it empties you completely. After decades of caregiving, working, worrying, and tending to others' needs, it can feel uncomfortable, maybe even wrong, to turn that kindness inward. But let me ask you this. When was the last time you asked yourself, what do I need today? Not in a dramatic, life-changing way, just in a quiet, gentle moment. A cup of tea in silence, a call to an old friend, a slow afternoon nap without guilt. These aren't luxuries, these are necessities for a soul that spent a lifetime giving. Focusing on yourself isn't selfish, it's sacred. It's how you refill your own well, because the truth is, no one else can do it for you. And when you begin to care for yourself with the same compassion you've given others, something powerful happens. You feel calmer, stronger, more connected to the world around you, not less. It might take time to unlearn that guilt. It might feel strange at first, but with every small act of self-care, you're reminding your mind and your heart that your needs matter too, especially now. And that brings us to another sneaky thought that many people over 60 wrestle with. I should have done more with my life. Regret is a quiet companion, isn't it? It shows up at night, whispers during still moments, and plays old memories like a film reel, pausing on the things you didn't do, the paths you didn't take. It's so easy to look back and measure life in missed chances. But here's something I want you to remember. The story isn't over. You are still writing it. Life isn't just about the big milestones. It's about the quiet strength you showed during hard times, the love you gave when it wasn't easy, the laughter shared over tea, the hands you held, the tears you wiped, the little kindnesses you didn't even realize were changing someone's day. Those things matter, maybe more than anything else. When we hold on to regret, we trap ourselves in a version of life that no longer exists. But when we forgive ourselves for not knowing better, for being afraid, for just being human, we free ourselves to live the time we still have with more presence and love. So instead of thinking, I should have done more, try saying, I did the best I could with what I knew. And I still have time to create something beautiful. Sometimes the most harmful thoughts aren't loud or dramatic. They don't shout, they whisper. They hide in the background of our daily routines, disguised as logic or realism. One of the most common ones, especially after 60, sounds like this: it's too late to start over. Maybe you've said it after the end of a long relationship. Maybe it crept in after retirement or when your children moved out and started families of their own. Maybe it came to you after a health scare or a financial setback, leaving you feeling unanchored. But let's pause right there and look at this closely. The idea that life has an expiration date for growth, for change, or for starting over, it's simply not true. Yes, some doors may have closed. Yes, time may feel more precious now than it ever did. But that doesn't mean it's too late to choose again, to begin again, to write a new chapter. Starting over doesn't always mean moving across the country or launching a new business. Sometimes starting over means allowing yourself to feel excited again, allowing new people into your life, reclaiming your mornings, wearing clothes that make you feel beautiful instead of invisible, picking up a hobby you let go of 30 years ago and realizing you still love it. Think about it. The past gave you lessons. The future holds possibilities. But this moment right now is where your power lives, not in wishing for yesterday, not in worrying about tomorrow, but in choosing today. So instead of thinking, it's too late to start over, try gently shifting it to, there's still time to grow in new ways. And the beauty of being this age is, you don't need to prove anything to anyone. You're free to begin for you. Now, let's talk about another belief that often shows up quietly, especially when we compare ourselves to others. I don't matter anymore. This one can hurt deeply because it's tied to something so human, our need to feel valued. As we get older, the roles that once gave us identity start to shift. Maybe you were the caretaker, the provider, the friend everyone called first, the one who always had the answers. But now your phone rings less often. Plans are quieter. The house is still. It's easy to start wondering if you're still important, if your presence still matters. But hear this clearly. You do matter, not because of what you can offer or how many people need you. You matter because of who you are. Your wisdom, your kindness, your stories, your presence, those things have a quiet power. A power that often goes unnoticed, but is always felt. Think about a time someone's words stayed with you for days, or when a neighbor smiled because you waved, or when your grandchild asked you for advice, not because you had a degree, but because they trusted your heart. You matter in ways that ripple out far beyond what you can see, and more importantly, you matter to yourself. The way you speak to yourself, the way you take care of your body, the way you allow joy into your life. These are acts of self-love that quietly affirm, I am still here and I still matter. Letting go of the belief that you're invisible or unimportant is one of the most freeing things you can do. Because when you believe in your worth again, everything starts to change. Your posture, your mood, your conversations. You become more present, not just in the world, but to yourself. And that brings us to another toxic thought that can slowly wear down your peace. I have nothing left to look forward to. This one can sneak in when the calendar feels empty, when friends have passed or moved away, when the holidays come and go without the noise and chaos they once had. It can settle into the quiet moments and tell you that all the big things are behind you. But here's something that many people discover late in life. Joy doesn't always come in big moments. It comes in details. The little things, the slow, quiet, peaceful joys that you might have been too busy to notice before. A favorite song playing on the radio when you least expect it. A breeze through the open window that smells like rain. Fresh fruit in the morning. A handwritten letter. A walk where the light hits the trees just right. These are the things to look forward to, and they are everywhere. You may not be planning weddings or raising toddlers anymore, but you are still living. And as long as you're living, joy has room to grow. If your life feels small, begin by making plans again, tiny ones. Maybe it's a visit to the local library or a virtual art class. Maybe it's volunteering once a week or trying one new recipe a month. Maybe it's writing down your memories to pass along to someone who will treasure them. And if the people in your life don't make plans anymore, be the one who does. Start small. Invite one friend for coffee, reconnect with someone you haven't spoken to in a while. Even sending a simple message that says, "I was thinking of you," can be the spark that lights up someone else's day and yours. Sometimes the most persistent thought, the one that clings even after years of life experience, is the belief that I have to stay strong for everyone else. It sounds noble, doesn't it? And for many years, it probably served you well. You were the rock in the storm, the shoulder others leaned on, the one who didn't break down even when everything inside you wanted to. Strength became a part of your identity, and somewhere along the way, you may have come to believe that showing vulnerability was a sign of weakness, or worse, a burden to those you loved. But there comes a time, especially now, when holding everything in becomes too heavy, when silence turns into loneliness, when pretending to be okay starts to feel like a quiet form of suffering. Let's be honest, being strong all the time doesn't make you unbreakable. It just makes you exhausted. Letting go of this thought doesn't mean becoming helpless. It means becoming human. It means allowing yourself to cry when you're overwhelmed, to ask for help when you need support, and to tell the truth about how you feel, without shame. People connect through honesty, not perfection. And when you let someone in, truly in, you give them permission to do the same. That kind of strength, the quiet kind that comes from vulnerability, is the most powerful of all. Imagine sitting with a friend and saying, "I've been having a hard time lately." That small sentence can be the beginning of deep healing, not just for you, but for them too, because behind every "I'm fine" is a person just waiting to be understood. You don't have to carry everything anymore. You've done enough. You are enough. And finally, we arrive at one of the most limiting beliefs that holds so many people back in their later years. This is just how it is now. It often starts with little disappointments, aches that linger longer, invitations that don't come, energy that doesn't stretch as far as it used to. And over time, these small changes can build up into resignation. A quiet voice in your mind starts saying, "Well, I guess this is just life now." But here's the truth. Life changes, yes, but it never stands still. And you don't have to settle into a version of life that doesn't feel good just because it feels familiar. "This is just how it is a sentence that often ends the conversation. But what if it could begin a new one instead? What if, instead of accepting decline as inevitable, you asked yourself, what small thing can I shift today? Maybe you can adjust your routine to give you more rest in the morning. Maybe you can take short walks after meals to help with digestion and mental clarity. Maybe you can find new ways to bring joy into the home, a new podcast, a creative project, a pet, a small garden. Joy doesn't disappear after a certain age. It evolves. It becomes quieter sometimes, but also richer. It's not always about excitement. It's about fulfillment, meaning, a sense of purpose. Don't let routine convince you that your best days are over. You are still here. You are still growing. You are still becoming. When you catch yourself thinking, this is just how it is, gently respond with, maybe there's another way. That's the doorway. That's where change begins. Not through pressure or huge leaps, but through curiosity. So let's take a breath together, right here, right now, and gently look back at what we've uncovered. You've been told you're too old to try new things, but your heart still stirs with curiosity. You've been led to believe that caring for yourself is selfish, but you're beginning to realize that self-care is the foundation for peace. You've carried the weight of regret, the feeling of being left behind, the pressure to stay strong, and the quiet sadness of believing there's nothing left to look forward to. But underneath all of that is something softer, something wiser, a deep knowing that life still holds beauty. And most importantly, you've started to recognize that these thoughts, while powerful, are not permanent. You don't have to believe everything your mind tells you, especially when those beliefs no longer bring you peace. Letting go doesn't mean forgetting. It doesn't mean erasing your past. It means choosing not to let old stories define your present. Each day is a page waiting to be written. Each sunrise is a fresh beginning, and the most beautiful chapters of your life can still unfold, not in spite of your age, but because of the wisdom that only this age brings. So be gentle with yourself. Speak kindly to your mind. Remind your heart that it's never too late to feel light again. And as you step forward, whether that means taking a walk in the sunshine, calling someone you miss, trying something new, or simply breathing more deeply, know that peace is not something you have to chase. It's something you create right here in this moment. If this message spoke to you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Share in the comments. What thought are you read?